What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I have another unboxing. Now I do want to explain something real quick because you probably already noticed that something's a little different with this video. As of right now, I'm up in college and I don't have my primary video equipment with me, my Sony camcorder. It's back at home, as I did not anticipate this package to arrive at this time. So I'm stuck using a bit of a different camera, which is actually a Canon in this case. So that means now I've had Nikon, Sony, and Canon equipment all featured on my YouTube videos, which is kind of cool. So again, I'm not very familiar with this particular camera that I have. It's an EOS RP, if anyone is curious. So it's one of the mirrorless cameras, and it actually does really good photos. I've played around with it a little bit. So I've figured out how to get the 4K recording on this, so it's limited to 24 frames per second, so that's why it's a little bit choppy here with the footage. But we're going to make do with it because that is what we do around here. So you can't really see too much since the box is relatively large in size, and I don't have my proper tripod with me as well. But I'll go ahead and make this work for you guys best I can. So there is the model inside, if I can get the focus to set in there. There we go. It's very slow from what I've read. And there it is, buried in all of the bunch of packing peanuts we got going on here. This is the model that we have. This is the BigBird, or Aeroclassics 1:400 scale United Airlines Boeing 747-200 in the Saul Bass livery. Very excited to unbox this. I'm going to go ahead and clean up all of the packing peanuts that we have here, and we'll go ahead and get into the unboxing. Let's get started. And here we go for the unboxing of the Aeroclassics / BigBird 1:400 scale United Airlines Boeing 747-200 in the Saul Bass livery. Been looking forward to adding a BigBird 747 Classic in my collection, as this is actually made on the BigBird mold, and for those that don't know, the BigBird 747s that were produced in the early to mid-2000s have become extremely valuable and very sought after on eBay. Usually they command about $200 minimum if you ever find one, so they're very expensive models when they do show up. And here, Aeroclassics seems like that they're going to start doing more of these 747 Classics, which is nice, because I know NG is about to introduce their 747 Classics, so Aeroclassics is definitely trying to compete and get some more 747s out before NG gets theirs ready to go. So we have our standard Aeroclassics box. It says 400-year craftsman, which is supposed to be like BigBird 400-year craftsman. See how that logo down there? 1:400 scale. Got a little cutout of the box so you can see the model inside. And then flip it over to the other side. This is your, like standard warnings and all that. Nothing too crazy here. And then the sides are pretty much blank, but you do have this really cool side here with all of the applicable information with the livery, aircraft registration, and also the aircraft tail. If I can get that into focus. There we go. I mishav my Sony camera up here. Let's go ahead and take this out. Oh boy, excited to have this. My first BigBird 747. Paid quite a bit for it, but gonna be way less than if I were to have bought one off of eBay. And here we go, taking this out. Look at that. Holy cow. Wow, this is incredible. Now I can see why these things are so valuable, because the mold is basically, for what it is, it's really, really good. Super nice. Very happy to have it. Let's go ahead and get into a review. And here she is, the United 747-200 by Aeroclassics. Starting off at the front, we've got our usual cockpit windows up here, and you also have the standard orange, red, and blue cheat line for the Saul Bass livery. Got yourselves the United titles along with the beautiful little tulip, and extends all the way to the back. Over here you got the American flag, and then the registration, which is November 164 Uniform Alpha on this particular airframe. And then you have the big United tulip over there on the tail. A little bit over to the other side, it's pretty much your usual details over here. I'll go ahead and zoom in on this bad boy here, get that into focus. Actually not too bad, but it does take a little bit of time there again with the autofocus. So there you see some more up close details. With the right side, you got a little luggage door over there, and then you move it back over, you got some more on the rear, and then also that aircraft registration in there as well. The model is very oily and greasy just to protect the paint, so it's definitely noticeable when you get it for the first time, but certainly not complaining here. And then we'll flip it underneath here, and not going to be too good of an angle, so I'll go ahead and bring it back. You can see like the top of the wings and all that. Some printed details on there. Again, no aerials or antennas, because Aeroclassics does not believe in them. But the landing gear does tilt. The middle ones do tilt, the side ones don't, but the middle ones are supposed to tilt, and the side ones don't anyway. They do not roll. The wheels don't roll. Yeah, they don't roll. But they are like rubbery. I can tell just by the feel that they are rubbery, but they do not roll, which is probably a good thing because Aeroclassics models tend to have issues with the wheels in which they fall off after about 2 days or less, actually like 2 minutes, so correct me on that. Yeah, but overall, this is a very solid model. Overall, I'm very happy with this model, very excited to have my first BigBird 747 in my collection. I'm calling it a BigBird because that's the mold that it is pretty much used on here, and it is a fantastic model. Now, I would normally recommend this, but at this point, it is basically sold out everywhere. I checked the Aeroclassics Direct website, like literally the day after they announced it, and it was gone. Both 747s of United, and I even think both Alitalia ones that they also announced in the same release, have also sold out. So this is going to be a very hard to find model if you want it still. So my recommendation is, if Aeroclassics does any 747 classics that you want, order it immediately after they are released. Aeroclassics releases typically come out on the second Friday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and the releases are usually available on aeroclassicsdirect.com right away. Other retailers do make them available at some other time. I think it's Jet Collector. There is one retailer out there. I'm not sure if it's Jet Collector, though. They usually have the releases available the next day in like the morning or so. You would have to check into that, but I'll look into that as well. If I find anything during editing, I'll be sure to pop it up on your screen with that applicable information. So just keep that in mind as we do move forward, because 747 classics are taking over. A lot of classic models becoming way more popular now in the last like 12 months or so, which is good to see as a new retro collector. That will do it. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.